Today I will be talking about some things to consider with Linux Mint, Ubuntu, and ZorinOS. Let's say you're a mom, you've got your kids crying in the background, you are completely overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. Or possibly you're a dad, you just got home from work, you don't have a lot of time for your family, so all the spare time that you have has to go into your family. You don't have the time, you don't have the energy to learn an entire computer science degree's worth of stuff just to use your computer, but you still have to protect your family from big tech. So that's what this channel is about, the little things that we can do to square you away against big tech. Let's get started with your system choices. The first one I want to go over that people recommend is called ZorinOS. I will show you a couple of things with this one, but I won't waste a lot of time with it because it's not really a new user distro. This one is more like what a 40-year Unix veteran imagines a new user would be able to use. For example, this menu here looks great, looks like something a new user would be able to use. But if I didn't know ahead of time the Unix way of predicting what's going to be inside of these menus, it becomes pulling teeth. Let's say you want to use the settings. Some of them are pretty sane, a lot of them are kind of confusing. You're probably going to end up clicking around, and you're going to end up in places that you don't really understand. So how do you reset that? You close the window and you reopen it. Let's see how that works in Zorin. Not at all. One thing Zorin is very famous for is its template system, and it's actually very interesting. It's hard to reach it on purpose, but it's easy to reach it on accident. Let me show you. So there's that button called Zorin Appearance, and we get this little thing. You try to click around just because that's what you do, and then you get that. And because you're very busy and distracted, you click that window away without meaning to, and now what? So because of those things, I want you to stay away from Zorin. This one is Ubuntu, and the shorts section of my channel actually has quite a few videos showcasing Ubuntu. Long story short, it is appropriate for you. But it's a bit of an ugly duckling, so let's fix that with a little painless configuration. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to click Change Background in the menu. You can use this button right here to add pictures of your kids or your pets or projects you're doing. But on this virtual machine, I've only installed it for the purpose of showcasing Ubuntu to you. So I'm going to pick the mountain because that's my favorite stock photo that they have available. I'm also not really a big fan of the Ubuntu orange either. So I will come over here into color and I will pick sage because that's my favorite out of all of those. When I look at this panel, I get this feeling like I don't have a lot of breathing room. So the way I'll fix it is I'll go into this Ubuntu desktop setting and I'll click panel mode. And sometimes if I really feel macOS-like, I'm going to have it switch to the bottom. Notice I did not say you are going to understand these settings 100% because you can still get confused by these settings. But it's not going to dump you in a place where you get stuck somewhere that you don't understand. There are two screwballs I think it might give you. If you click the upper left, it does that. And really to get out of this, you just click inside of here. But you'll notice while you're in this space, which is called the workspaces, you can actually switch between these two desktops. They both exist. They're both real. They're for you to use. You can access all of your programs as if you're using the desktop normally. The other thing is this wheel thing in the lower right, where if you click it, it shows you all of the apps you have on your machine. This is very similar to what Apple has. You can escape this by clicking one of these two pictures of your desktop, but if you make the mistake of starting to type, then you can escape it by clicking the wheel and you're back to your desktop. And you have your power options in the upper right. You can click it, you can turn off your computer, and you can do what you want to do here. The biggest reason I like Ubuntu for you is because it does not let you stay lost. You can make almost any change you want to it, and it will dump you off in some sort of familiar territory. By the way, if you choose this one, use the 24.04 LTS version. You will thank me later. The other solid option that I have for you is Linux Mint. The thing about Linux Mint is it tries to cater towards Windows users. So if you are a Windows user and you right click, you're going to immediately understand this menu. And if you go into the lower left, the menu is going to be very familiar to you except for these. By the way, unlike Ubuntu, Linux Mint actually allows you to change it in a way that's very difficult to reverse. But it's nearly impossible to change the layout or the behavior without deliberately hacking into it. The biggest thing that's probably going to mess you up is this thing called Software Manager, which looks like it has something to do with the apps on your computer. But it's an app store, unlike anything you've ever seen in Apple or Windows. By the way, everything inside this app store is free for you to download and use. These are from very special servers called repositories, and developers use them to build environments. Even though you're not an open source developer, you can still piggyback off their resources and take what you want. That is not frowned upon, and in fact, that's encouraged. If you choose Linux Mint, use 21.3 Virginia. Don't move to 22 Wilma, because I've been having stability issues with every install that I've used of 22. If you know Windows, this is a very good one to try out. So there you go, Linux Mint and Ubuntu. Those are the two that I want you to choose between. If you have any questions about what you just saw, leave them in the comments. I would love to answer them.